How do you pass up the opportunity to spit blood in Joan Baez's face? I've read Mark Twain. I've read Huckleberry Finn. I think I earned the right to go on the internet and see a guy get a chainsaw in the face. Dude, my dad was drunk and my mom was dealing with it. Guess what? I got raised by Cookie Monster. My cock looks like it's been in a hockey fleet. Time my stupidity. It's at the speed of goddamn light. I got a buffalo clocks.
Hey, what's happening, Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. Folks, I got to warn you, there's a possibility here. It's floating in the air. There's tension. There's a smell of burning electric wires. There's all sorts of, it's crackling. I won't even lie to you. It's crackling in here right this second. There's a possibility. There's a good chance. I want to say a good chance. There's a possibility. Well, there's a chance. There's a 50% chance, a 57% chance, but I guess would make it a good chance. An 80% chance would be a great chance. But I mean, 57% is I don't know why I went 57 for the sauce or the REO song. That would be 157. Hey, hold on, folks. There's a 157% chance that something will happen here. I hope not. Jesus Christ. That's a serious chance. That, you know what? That's almost a guarantee. I'm not going to lie to you. If you go with 157% chance of something happening, that's, you're pretty goddamn confident of that thing happening. And I'm not going to argue with you. Those are odds I'm not going to take. If you tell me that there is a 157% chance of something happening, I will not argue against it. I'm going to side with you because you obviously have some inside information that I can't possibly compete with. I don't think that there's any way I can talk you out of it if you have that information and you're willing to state that high a number. If you say there's a 157% chance of something happening, I'm going to throttle down and I'm going to go ahead and defer to you. I will lay my coat in the puddle and you can walk across the street unfettered, whatever the fuck you need me to do. If you say there's a 157% chance of something happening, I'm going to trust you. I might not know you. You could be a liar. You could be somebody who lies all the time. But if you come to me and you say, because I mean, again, liars always embellish. Like we learned that in Silence of the Lambs, like the embellishment of a good liar or whatever the fuck she said. Liars will often go over the top and tell you some crazy number like 157%. But at the same time, there's always that possibility. As a sane person, I can't argue against someone who says there's a 157% chance. I mean, I can scoff. Certainly I can scoff at that. Certainly I can roll my eyes and just be like, the math doesn't even work on that. Seriously, I could break out my abacus and my slide rule and go ahead and go to town to show you why you're fucking wrong and why there could never be a 157% chance of something happening other than the fact that we're all going to die. I can tell you that. Right now, I would side firmly on this with somebody who said there was a 157% chance of all of us dying because that's happening. That's not something you can argue with. We all die. It's all coming. Now, if you start predicting actual years and ages of people's deaths, then I got to say the odds are going to get a lot lower than 157%. And if they don't, then you're some freaky fucking dude out of a Stephen King novel. That's who you are. You're one of those fucking guys. You're I don't remember the name of that fucking book. What was the Dead Zone? You're the Dead Zone guy. That's who you are. You're the Dead Zone guy if you can tell me when I'm going to die or tell me what day I'm going to die. See, would you want to know what day you were going to die? Is that something you'd want? Is that information you would find handy? Handy. I don't know why I did that. I just happen to have that information here. Handy. Is that Freddie Boom Boom Washington? I think it is. Everybody goes with the boom, boom, boom. Everybody goes hi there, but I just happen to have that information here handy. And I know 100 of you are now writing me to tell me it's not Freddie Boom Boom Washington, but look, Germans, forget it, he's rolling. It ain't over now, God damn it. I'll tell you this, there's a 157% chance that I'm wrong about Freddie Boom Boom Washington. I'm willing to go ahead and side with that. I'm going to say that. I'm going to throw those odds out for you right now. I'm also going to say there's a 157% chance that you are hearing background noise because my neighbor is listening to a President Trump speech. Yes, it's Monday night, and President Trump is in El Paso. And look, I'm warning you now. I might talk a little bit about this because it's coming up, and I'm thinking about it. And there's been, but my life is streaming video games. So who the fuck wants to hear about that? I'll talk about that though. I will tell you this. I'm playing a new game called God of War, which is fucking badass and crazy testosterone levels and all that kind of fun stuff. It's about a big muscle dude with like a weird red eye and a tattoo that runs down his back. And it turns out he's not just a dude, he's a god. I didn't know what I was getting into. Everybody's like, you should play God of War. I'm like, all right, I'll play God of War because here's the games I've played previously. I played a game called Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's a Western game, folks. Now, look, there's a fine group of regulars out there who are listeners to this podcast, and they always come in and they watch me stream, and that makes me very happy. And then I was getting new people around that as well. As I mentioned last week, a lot of Twitch people were not only tuning into Twitch, but then they were coming here and listening to the podcast. And that makes me very happy. But I know the numbers. So I would say that right now, there's a very good chance that 157% of you don't come to my Twitch channel and tune in. You don't know what I'm doing. You don't know the thing. And look, I don't blame you. You got TV to watch. You got books to read. You got kids to raise. You got jobs to do. And you can't go ahead and sit there and watch me doing somersaults with a fake guy running through a goddamn police station. I understand that. You can't see me piloting Officer Bieber in Action Barbie as they try to defeat the zombies and save Raccoon City from the plague that Umbrella Corporation has foisted upon them with the G virus, right? Nobody out there thinks to themselves, God damn it, you know what? I'm going to call in sick to work to watch Schmitty fucking take on the G virus as Officer Bieber. I need him to fucking saddle up as Officer Bieber. And let's talk about Resident Evil 2 for just a second here, because why not? And look, I tear apart movies, and I'm not giving spoilers away. See, there are movies that I'm seeing. Like, I will tell you this tonight, I have to see the new Liam Neeson movie. Yes, and the operative word in that sentence is have. I have to see it. Why? Well, I'll just tell you this now. I'm doing a spoiler episode for that of our good friends Graham Elwood and Chris Mancini's I can't even remember the Comedy Film Nerds. I almost said Movies at Our House, which is a show I did with Paul Gilmartin and Jimmy Pardo a million years ago. I'd like to find those. I don't know if somewhere I got to have the fucking copies of those video wise. I mean, there were two that I did. One where I was like some fake Russian spy guy, and when somebody went out of the room, I had to be all intense and dramatic, and it was totally fun. See, that I liked doing. I didn't just have to be fucking goofy, because Movies in Our House wasn't a movie show where you watched movies and you made fun of movies. It was a movie show where there was interstitials in between the commercials, and then it was like actual life was playing out. It was Paul Gilmartin and was it Paul Gilmartin? No, that's he's on the TBS one. He's on Dinner and a Movie, which I also did. No, Movies in Our House was Rachel Quaintance and Jimmy Pardo. Jesus Christ, he was the fucking host. How the fuck do I mess this up? And because it's a million years ago, and I'm old, man. I'm 51 fucking years old. My fucking head is a chasm at this point. There's all sorts of neurons and shit just flying off. The fucking monkey lost one symbol and he's trying to bang the other into something that'll just make a noise. A fucking wall. My oblongata. One of my medullas. Whatever the fuck I got up there right now. My skull is a fucking. It's just a tin full of cobwebs. You ever clean out your cabinets? And you find some old pot, like I have a George Foreman grill that I haven't used. This is not an exaggeration. In 15 years, I haven't used this motherfucking thing in 15 years, and it's sitting in a cabinet. And I know that little Japanese lady's like, throw all that shit out. I get it, but eventually, at some time, I'm gonna need that George Foreman grill. I know I am. You know why? Because here's what I fully anticipate happening. At some point, motherfucking George Foreman's going to come by for dinner, and I'm going to go, hey, you want to stay? What do you want, pork chops? And then I'm going to have to just candidly pull out the George Foreman grill, and just so he looks at me and he just nods. That's all I want. This whole life should be just trying to get a fucking firm nod of satisfaction out of George Foreman. I don't care about kids. I don't care about fucking lives. I don't care about jobs and success. All I want is for George Foreman to pop into my house, me to go and reach into the cabinet and brush all of the fucking spider webs off of my George Foreman grill and put it on the countertop and have him just look at me and kind of wink and nod a little bit. Just like, yeah, I knew you were that guy. I knew you were that playa. Is that the proper word? Do playas have the George Foreman grill? I don't know if they do. I don't know what to have. I have no status. I have no symbols. I have no status symbols. I guess I'll put those together. I don't have anything that makes me rich or respected in any way. I mean, I'm not trying to be that guy. Nobody's trying to be that guy. Well, fuck that. There is one guy trying to be that guy. Look, if you have Twitter, here's my thing. You got Twitter? Burn it. Burn your phone. Just put your phone in a fireplace. Set a fire. Let your phone melt, and then get a new phone and cleanse it of Twitter. Because now even deleting the Twitter app will not do anything good for your phone. It still lives in there. You're haunted by a Twitter ghost, the ghosts of assholes past, as they float around in your fucking circuitry. And eventually, when you open one of your good apps, you'll be like, hey, I'm going to use this Chrome app to Google surf. And then boom, all of a sudden there's a bunch of Twitter takes you didn't fucking want. You're like, God damn it, because Twitter has taken over the world. Twitter's an octopus that just fucking has reached its tentacles all over the goddamn fucking globe and is squeezing the fuck out of it. You ever see those old like World War II cartoons? Where they would be like, Hitler's on the march. And it would be like this fucking Nazi octopus and it's squeezing the shit out of Europe. That's Twitter with the world. And look, I read it every day. I won't lie. I fucking participate. But here's the thing. It's just polluted everybody's brains. Because here's what Twitter's done. And here's what social media's done. And I've talked about this a billion fucking times. And I apologize for fucking revving up and going into it again. But it became, because I've made a solemn promise to myself to try to avoid being this person. And so now I've gone forward with a different thing. Here's what I do. All right. And I recommend you guys can do this too. You guys should try this for yourselves. I've been doing it now for about a month. Not very often, but only when I feel like it's something I need to do. But I do it on texts from friends, and I do it on private messages. I do it from Twitter messages, and I do it on Facebook. If someone I know, or even someone I'm casually interested in, what does that mean, casually interested in? Someone I'm observing from afar, somebody I'm looking at from a bush. If I'm hiding in your hedges and I'm glaring through your window, this may happen to you. But even some of you listeners, if somebody writes something funny, because here's the thing, I will tell you where this all started, where I finally had this epiphany. There's a guy named David Roth, and no, not the singer, and actually has that in his Twitter bio, not the guy from Van Halen, but he is a writer for Deadspin.com. And he does, a million other things, I suppose. He writes for everybody else, but I follow him on Twitter, and his writing is just fucking solid. You know what I mean? And look, he agrees with me. Okay, so he is not a Trump guy. I know some of you are. We're venturing into territory now where you're probably going to throw your fucking iPod into the fireplace, and I could get that. That's fine. But I'm not judging. I'm just saying that I disagree with that guy and his policies, and I would not object to maybe him tripping and hitting his head. That's all I'm going to say. And that's not even harsh. I just want him to, although, you know what, him hitting his head, literally, if Donald Trump tripped and fell, his hair would hit the ground and spring him right back to the fucking top. Like one of those fucking kicking dummies you have in a Thai Muay Thai class. Thai Muay Thai? Thai Muay Thai. In a Thai Muay Thai class. I just invented a new fucking martial art. You're a Muay Thai fighter? Well, I'm a Thai Muay Thai fighter. Well, what's that mean? It means I can eat pad Thai while I'm kicking the shit out of you. I mean, that's what I do. I can eat some fish sauce and some sour fucking meat pork, and I'll just fuck you up right there in the goddamn thing. I'm a Thai Muay Thai. I'll put wraps on my hands. Okay, and then I will grab, I'll grab chopsticks, and I'll eat stuffed glass angel wings, whatever the fuck those were that I had at a Thai restaurant once. They were chicken wings, but they had crab stuffed in them. Oh, you know what, guys? The Thais are genius. The Thais are brilliant. The Thais, if you could stuff food in another food, because look, we invented the turducken here in America, I think. I don't think a European did that. He doesn't want to step up and claim it. But it was a football coach who invented the turducken, who's just like, hey, man, what the fuck? What if I shove this inside of this and then this inside of this? And his inspiration, by the way, was Pornhub. I don't know if you know that. John Madden was watching Pornhub, and he went, holy shit, what if I put this inside of this and then this inside of that? Like, that guy's putting that inside of her, and she's putting this inside of him. Basically, yeah, a turducken is just it's an individual daisy chain of food. Honestly, it's a hen stuffed in a chicken, stuffed in a duck, stuffed in a fucking turkey, and then stuffed eventually into a family. You know what essentially it is? It's a reverse human centipede. A human centipede is like the people who are all like wedged together, then they eat and it goes through them. This is a human centipede that you eat, although it's an animal centipede. Would a centipede actually be an animal? I don't think it would. That's an insect. So this is an animal centipede. What you do is you stuff a hen, a guinea hen, a guinea fowl, and then you stuff that inside of a chicken, and then you stuff that inside of a duck, and then you stuff that into a fucking turkey, and then you cook the whole fucking thing up, and then you tell your family to sit down, and they just eat it like ravenous fucking beasts. If you have a turducken, nobody carves the turducken, right? There's nobody who's just like, well, I'll gently carve this. Fuck you, man. That's just fucking Walking Dead time. If you put that fucking thing on the table, people just start moaning and tearing it a fucking apart. It's like, you know what? It's like the fucking dinner party in the NXS fucking The One Thing video. You just put out a turducken, and inevitably everybody's spilling drinks and knocking over grapes and staring at one another like they're gonna fuck, and they got grease all over their face and duck on their hands, which is my favorite line from the Tool song "Prison Sex." Grease on my face, shit, blood, and duck on my hands. All right, so I don't even know how I fucking spun off into that, but yeah, the turducken is absolutely, that's the goddamn human, it's like an animal centipede. It's a human centipede of food, and you can't eat it delicately. You can't carve the motherfucker. You can't put it on a table and be like, well, you know what, I'm gonna get everybody a slice of this, and I don't even know how the fuck. What if you just wanted the hen? If you're at a kitchen table and they bring out a turducken, and they're like, hey man, you want some turkey? You're like, nah man, I'll wait till you get to the duck. Okay, that makes sense because the duck's the next layer. But what if you just want hen? Do you have to reach in that fucking thing like you're helping a calf give birth? Or I guess a cow. Calves don't give birth, do they? Not unless they've been tapped by a fucking older bull who's got a thing for young calves. And that might be the case. You know what? It might be like humans. You know how there's old men who get young ladies pregnant all the time? You ever see that? Holy fuck. See like some 64-year-old dude. He's got like a 23-year-old wife and she's got a baby. And you're just like, why? Dude, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? You just brought this kid into life fatherless. By the time he's 13, you're going to be 77 years old. What the fuck are you going to do for him? Are you going to, you know what? If he takes Thai Muay Thai class, he can use you as a kicking dummy. You can stand there and just get fucked up. arrogance of spreading your seed. Just get a fucking, you know what, everybody, when you're 40, get a fucking vasectomy. That just do it if you're married. Now I'm 51. I don't have a vasectomy because what am I going to do? I probably got no bullets left in the gun anyway. I've fired them all over the goddamn place. Like I said, you can get up a blue light and look from fucking coast to coast and just see the trail I've left all over the damn place in all my old cars and hotel rooms and every other fucking thing. So I'm out. I mean, you know, obviously, don't kid yourself. I'm still shooting ropes, but I mean, they are incapable of doing anything. They're not going to tie anybody up. They dissolve immediately. my sperm have canes and long fucking white beards. All of my cum looks like the fucking Father Time, fucking what's his name, Happy New Year guy on the fucking December 31st before Baby New Year comes in. You ever see that cartoon they have of the fucking old fucking year as he's on his way out the door? That's what all my cum looks like. Every one of my sperm cells just has a pair of fucking reading glasses and a long ass white beard and a bad neck. Just a fucking ow. That's what all my sperm says. It's not me. If you ever fuck me and you hear, and I'm coming and you hear me and you hear ow, it's not me. It's all my sperm cells because their neck is cricked. And every time I shoot them fucking inside you or all over you or wherever the fuck I blast it, they're just like landing and going ow, 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 ow. Every one of my sperm cells is like, ouch, dude. What the fuck? You should have thought about this before you blasted us. All right, what the fuck were we talking about? I don't know. Oh, we were talking about somebody reading a thing. Who were we talking about? Trump and a guy who was with me. Was it a fucking author? What the fuck was I saying? There was a guy who agreed with me because we were talking about Trump falling and hitting his head and springing all the way to back up, and then we went into Muay Thai or Thai Muay Thai, Muay Thai Thai Muay Thai, Thai Muay Thai. Tell me to my Thai. Who did I say agreed with me on Trump? Fuck, now I'm lost. I hate being lost. You know why? I'm distracted as well. Because again, next door, you can hear Trump yelling at people in El Paso, Texas, about building the wall and such, and claiming that it's already built. I know some of you like him. That's fine. I'm glad you like him. But he is just a fucking fathead. He is a fucking goon, man. And he is just like, the best part is he's like, I'm going to shut down the government so we can build the wall. And then all of his speeches, he's like, the wall's almost done. I'm like, wait, whoa, hold on a second. Yesterday, you told us you're going to shut down the government because you wanted to send military people there to build the wall. That's another thing, by the way. How fucking thrilled is the military to find out that they're going to get called into duty to go build a fucking wall? And I see this argument all the time on goddamn Twitter, which is ruining the goddamn earth. All these guys were like, oh man, this is fucked. The military's going to have to go build the wall. And then old like military veterans are like, you do it when you sign up, you know that the country can tell you whatever they want you to do. And it's like, yeah, but if the military, what if the military told you to go fucking shovel shit? Would you be happy about it? No, you wouldn't. I mean, I'm sure the military guys are bitching. It's look, I mean, maybe building the wall is better than killing people. All right, so maybe that's the thing. You give me a shovel rather than a gun. All right, and I'm all for that if that's what they want to do. But nobody signed up to be in the fucking military, so they'll go ahead and build a fucking ditch. I know you got to build a fucking latrine in the wild, or you got to bivouac and build a camp. I don't know about you fucking people walking around in your hot sand with your 4,000 pounds of clothing and carrying a weapon and killing foreigners just because they fucking told you to. And look, I understand that's the gig. You got to do the trade-off so you can get the money for fucking college. Although there are some people who do it because they want to be in the military and it's a military family thing. And, you know, my dad, he was in the Navy. My little brother was in the Navy. Good for them. I hope they loved it, you know. But the stories that I heard is my brother Andy he's got a story about being, accosted by transgenders when he was on the fucking road in Thailand or Taiwan or one of those other, or possibly in Thai Muay Thai. And then, you know, my dad was a Seabee. So I don't know much about his military history. I've seen photos of him, but I know my dad was like a thin string bean of a guy who ran a crane, I guess, or something like that. And I guess you got to do that in the military. There's a hierarchy. You don't just, because again, for a guy who's not in the military, I just, when you play guns when you're a kid, you're like, all right, we play war, and when you play war, you're killing people. You're not building a fucking latrine tent so everybody can go take a fucking leak. You're not standing on guard duty for 18 hours in the fucking heat. I don't even know how you guys do it. I could not. I'm such a fucking pussy when it would come to that stuff. Like, I mean, there's shit here in my house I don't want to fucking do. I mean, and that's totally the truth. Like, I came home from the gym today, and by the way, that's going well. I'm actually regaining, I'm ahead of the curve a little bit in the gym, and I'll get to that in just a second. But I got home from the gym today. Dudes, here's something you should never have. I'm warning you. Don't, and I'm sure a lot of you already have one. But I've just recently acquired one in the past, 6 months, and I'd forgotten what it was like to have one. I have a couch. Okay, so I have a couch in my living room. So I come home from lifting weights or doing whatever the fuck I'm doing on the road, and on the road, I go to the gym 3 times a week. I go lift. I'm supposed to do cardio as well, but the lifting is hardcore. You know, I told John a couple weeks ago, Because again, my goal, all right, let's do a health reboot. Let's talk about the gym progress right now. Let's tell you where I'm at, okay? I think I told you guys that I wanted to lose 10 pounds a month in 2019. That was my goal. I wanted to lose 10 pounds a month. So I weigh in on the 1st of every month. So I weighed in on the 1st of January, and I was at 361, which is gruesome and awful. That's a terrible number and one I don't even like to say out loud, but yet I'm saying it. And then I went through January. Now I will tell you this: I lifted 3 times a week in January. I only did cardio like 3 times. I should have done it a lot more. I should be doing cardio 3 times a week, not 3 times a month. But I did get off my ass and go do it a few times. And did I talk about it on here when I was at the gym and I was on the treadmill and they were showing CNN in the afternoon on a Saturday? And I was like, what the fuck? Why would you ever? Who would watch it? I don't want to watch CNN ever. I don't want to watch Fox News, any of that bullshit. I'm just so, I can't. I just fucking can't. That's why I'm sitting here listening to fucking shitbag rant in the other fucking apartment here. And I don't know how that, because my buddy, all right, let's talk about Lou. Oh, no, fuck that. Let's talk about the gym real quick and then we'll move on. I go to the gym and I've been going 3 times a week, like I said, to lift. And I told John, I go, look, you got to fuck me up. Like, because I came home from a workout once and I couldn't lift my arms. In the shower, I had to lean on the shower door to use my right arm and to wash like the left side of my body. And I had to kind of I had to bend down so I could reach my head to put shampoo in. Like we really went at it one day. And I told him, I said, look, that's what I want. I want to be sore. I want to be fucked up. He said, well, that's not good that you can't function. I go, no, I could totally function. Eventually, once I stretched it out and I got out of the shower, I was better. But it's that thing where it wasn't like I was incapable. I guess I should say, I could raise my hands and wash my head and I could wash the rest of my body, but I was sore, like really sore. Okay. So that's what I wanted. And I equate really sore with a good workout. And John's like, well, that's not the case. If you work really hard, you shouldn't be super sore. You should be in better shape so you don't have to be. And I'm like, yes, I get it. You take off your fucking graduation hat and put away your pointer and stop instructing me on what it's like to be a fucking healthy person. I know you are the healthiest man alive. I came in today to John's fucking working out with this, but he trains with a guy named Mariano before he trains me. So I walked in and Mariano's the coolest. Fucking John's the coolest. And it's just 2 good looking guys in the gym. You know what I mean? And John's doing reverse crunches, okay? But he's doing them, he's not on the ground. Like I do reverse crunches where it's like you lay on your back and you do a leg lift and then you pull your knees in toward your chin. And you just do 25 of those. You know what I mean? Keeping your legs elevated the entire time. And that's, we do 5 sets of those. Whenever I go, I do 5 sets of 5 things. Like today we did leg press. And I'm leg pressing 500 pounds, which is fucking awesome. And I love doing it because because that, you know why? Pushing iron around makes me feel manly and it makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something, which sounds fucking ridiculous probably to you people, but it, the more weight, like I even said to him, like he wants to deadlift and I'm like, well, hey, can I deadlift my weight, you think? And he's like, we're not fucking doing that, dude. You're trying to get in shape. And I'm like, yeah, but should we max me out one day? And I'm like, no, we shouldn't. You know what I mean? Because it was like that time when I was dating Randy and her husband was like, how much you bench? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I mean, I do reps, I'll do 5, like today I did 5 sets. We did 2 warm-up sets in the beginning, which with just like fucking 100 pounds. And you do 15 of those. And then I did 5 sets of 15 at 150 pounds. But the way you do it is I'm on the floor. I'm not even on a bench. So you lower the bar down and when your elbows hit the floor, you pause a second and then you burst up. So it's not just 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 2, like slow, and that's one of the things that fucks you up, man. And like I learned all these fucking, again, there's slow gains, there's no gains, there's row gains, there's all that kind of shit you can get in the fucking gym. So I did bench today, and then I did leg press, and then I did curls, and then I did 1 single arm rows with a fucking dumbbell, and then I did chest flies, but like not flies sitting down in tight, full extension arm flies when you're bringing your wrists together in like a bear hug. God, I'm sniffling a lot. I apologize. But so you wind up doing that, and I was, it kicked my ass, man. It was great as hell. I loved it. So that's the progress I'm making. So I apologize. Fuck that. I didn't even get to the progress. In January, I went to the gym 3 times a week, and I said I did cardio 3 times. But also, here was an important thing I did. I gave up all fast food and soda in January. Now, I had soda on Super Bowl Sunday because I went to a fucking party for Super Bowl Sunday and it was like I had 2 cans of soda. over the course of fucking whatever 9 hours. But I had no soda in January. I had no fast food in January, and that was a big deal. Like I had kind of lapsed back into eating fast food, into drinking soda, into eating garbage. Now I still had chocolate. I still ate fucking dude. I found a new weakness. This is fucking terrible. Like. And I've realized that this is, you know what it is? It's the weaknesses of my childhood. It's youth. It's days gone by. That's what you hide behind. You know, the chocolate, like I said, Hershey bars. When I was a kid, I used to finish my Saturday chores and I would walk to 7-Eleven and I would buy an extra large Hershey bar. Not the giant ones that I buy now. There's another one called an extra large. It's in between a regular Hershey bar and the giant Hershey bar. But as a kid, it was essentially a giant Hershey bar. So I would go get the extra large bar and I would come home and I would watch baseball on Saturday afternoon with a big chocolate bar and ice cold milk. Like it was a ritual, and it was something I loved because it meant my chores were done. It was an accomplishment thing. It was a reward. It was everything. I just delve into the fucking food. I mean, it's what I did. And another thing that I used to eat all the time when I was a kid, and this will make you laugh. You know, my mom would buy potato chips, or she'd buy Doritos, she'd buy whatever. But she bought potato chips. We had these Jay's potato chips in. It's just, even saying it out loud is making me laugh because it's so ridiculous. My mom would buy Jay's potato chips, okay, and that's a brand in Chicago. But Jay's also they made sour cream and onion potato chips. And when I was a kid, I loved the fact that there was green on the bag, and it was different than regular chips. And I thought eating sour cream and onion chips was more sophisticated or more grown up. So I always wanted sour cream and onion chips. My mom would buy regular potato chips, and then she would buy me sour cream and onion chips. And God, boy, just saying it out loud again makes me realize what a fucking powerful memory this is. So it was a big deal. Like they were like my chips, you know. And sometimes Lenny would open them and be like, "Fuck, those are my chips." You know, Mom bought them for me. Whatever the fuck. We'd have a huge fight because we're idiots and there's 5 boys and no dad, and my mom's at work and just nonsense of people hating one another. But my mom would buy basically the sour cream and onion chips for me. Sometimes she'd buy a variety pack of stuff, and I would always claim the sour cream and onions. My mom would buy Doritos because there were sour cream and onion Doritos when I was a kid too, and those were the fucking best. The taco Doritos I didn't like, so my mom would get me sour cream and onion Doritos because she knew I loved them, and I loved green. Green's my favorite color, and I was obsessed with it. And also, it felt more sophisticated because potato chips were just plain. But hey, sour cream and onion will fucking get me a monocle and put my pinky in the goddamn air. I'm growing up right before your very goddamn eyes. So I would choke those down. So now, at 51, I started to, when I was Ubering a lot more, you know what I mean? I haven't driven in a while, but I mean, I will be on the road this week going back. But I'm trying to work it out with the streaming schedule. What the fuck? You don't care. But the point is, when I was driving, I would get chocolate bars and I would get bags of sour cream and onion chips. Because Lay's sour cream and onion chips are always on sale. They're always, 2 for $5. Or the large, like the party size is $2.79 instead of $4.29. How sad that I know these numbers. Really, this is what a fat guy does. This is fat guy numbers and math. Like I said, I get an abacus and a slide rule earlier. I'll do that to find the best price chips in the goddamn nation. Just go ahead and give me an abacus, a slide rule, a magnifying glass, a houndstooth coat, and a fat guy named Watson, and I'll Sherlock Holmes the shit out of the chips in this fucking nation and bring you the best sour cream and onion deals you could possibly imagine. But I've done it. I go to Walgreens and then I'll go to Ralph's and look for the best price. It's remember the candy bullshit that I used to do with the fruits? Those gay guys I used to hang out with. We were pals. We would buy candy together. It was me and a guy, there was a gang. It was a local gang called the Fruits. And we would go out. Oh, it was so terrible. We would harass men at the steam room, and then we would leave and go buy candy. Why would a gang go to a steam room? You can't show your colors in the steam room. You got to be naked in the steam room. You know what? Bullshit. We actually wore our colors. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm trying to cover up for us. They wore their colors. They were the Fruits. I was not allowed into the Fruits because the initiation, I got to tell you, very difficult for a guy like me. I will not lie. You talk about getting jumped into a gang. Whoa! I had to avoid that at all costs. But they still let me hang out. I was like their little mascot. You know what I mean? I was like Tanner or Lupus or whatever the fuck from the Bad News Bears. I was their little buddy. So the Fruits and I would always go to a steam room and harass men and just stare at them, and that's what we would do. And then we'd go get candy afterwards, and we'd laugh uproariously at the men and their uptight fucking reactions. But remember I used to buy that fruit candy, like it was fucking chocolate covered fruits. There was cherries, there was strawberries, there was apricots. can't even say the word, and blueberries. And then I would sort the fuck out of those. Remember, I would sit there and I would look to make sure that there were more white ones and there were orange ones. And remember, I had a giant bag of orange ones because I didn't want to eat the motherfuckers. Anyway, that has now transferred itself because, there's no reason to sort Hershey bars, although I have found a way to do that. I have to buy like the freshest ones. Like sometimes I'll go there and they'll have 7, like the expiration date will be 7/2019, and then they'll have 8/2019, and then 12/2019. I'm like, fuck, I gotta get those ones from 12/2019. Now look, I'm eating them in 4 minutes. They're going to be fucking gone immediately, but I have to buy the freshest ones that are possible. The worst thing that makes me mad is when I go to Walgreens, because they have the freshest ones. They have the freshest selection. And then I'll go to Ralph's and they'll have like fucking, like almost June of 2019. I'm like, holy fuck, that's 4 months. This thing could be fucking ruined by now. I'm going to open this up and find a fucking pile of worms in the middle of this goddamn chocolate bar. When in reality, everything's fresh. It's fine. Just fucking eat it. Who cares? And you're going to, again, like I said, it's like, you ever see Cookie Monster eat cookies? Not one fucking thing goes down his throat. It just goes flying all over the goddamn place. That's how I eat these chocolate bars. Just this orgasmic frenzy of shoving things in my goddamn mouth and crumbs flying all over the place. At the end, I got chocolate smears on my face and my eyes have rolled back into my head, just laying there with a fucking heart on, just fucking insane. And so that's how it transferred itself. I look for that. And so same thing with the chips. Sometimes it'll be a March 12th date and a March 29th date. So I'll take the March 29th. I have to have the freshest. Look, if you're going to kill yourself with the freshest ingredients available. That's how I describe it to you. Don't be a guy who says to himself, well, I'll settle for anything, because who the fuck you'll settle for anything. That's the one thing that bothered me about Red Dead. You're watching Red Dead and he's, our boy Arthur Morgan is fucking, I'm running on the street and I stopped to find fancy vegetables, which you don't know what that is if you didn't watch the fucking game. I get it. But you would do this thing where you would look around to find fancy vegetables and you would save them because later on you would cook meat to stay alive and you would feed your horse fancy vegetables. Well, there was thyme, there was sage, there was always mint, and you could just eat it. You could eat a handful of it. And so Arthur Morgan, sometimes I would accidentally hit the wrong button and he would eat a handful of like sage and I'd be like, oh, that's the fucking grossest thing I've ever heard, Arthur. What are you doing, man? Now, mind you, this is a guy covered in the blood of dozens of people. He's just killed an entire camp full of men and seen his own friend almost cooked alive, winds up on his horse. Every time he goes to get off his horse takes a massive shit right on his shoes and he's just fine with it. He's okay. And then he wanders into a fucking field and eats a handful of fucking stuff. It's like, what the hell? Who chokes down a fucking handful of just spices? That's fucking disgusting. Right now, go into your kitchen, open up your spice cabinet, and just think about popping the tops off and chugging down some fucking rosemary. Oh, what the fuck? Arthur, man, you're grossing everybody out. Even his fucking horse. His horse is like, nay, don't do that, buddy. I'm the guy who eats all the dry fucking weeds and shit. You're supposed to eat meat. You got a satchel full of meat. Set up camp. It's one button away. You don't have to walk through and fucking start eating garbage dry herbs. And then Arthur had TB. I'm trying to giving a fucking thing away here. I shouldn't. But Arthur would cough. I did. I just spoiled the game. I've ruined everything. All right. So, but Arthur would cough. And I would go, well, yeah, you know what the best thing for that is? A handful of dry herbs. Let's go find some dry sage. He would eat mushrooms, like raw mushrooms right off the ground. He would pick them and eat them. What a fucking mess. The only good thing I ever did was, I would pick them and then, like I said, and I never ate them on purpose. I ate them on accident. You know what I mean? Because there was mint and shit like that. Wild carrots, I would feed them to my horse. But I would collect the spices because then you would eventually make big game and venison and pork and beef. And you would cook, minty pork or minty big game or thyme venison, something like that, which was acceptable in the game. And then you filled your satchel with it. But then I'd wander into the woods and I'd eat a handful of fucking like bulwark. Or whatever the fuck it was, bulrush? I don't know. It was cattails. Yeah, like one time I ate a handful of cattails. Why? I did because I hit the wrong button. Even if you hit the wrong button, he should look at the camera and just be like, nah, I'm not eating cattails, motherfucker. Is this a joke? But I think that a lot about the video people. Like when I make them do stuff, they should just look at me and just be like, nah, dude, I don't want to do that. Arthur Morgan, look, he took baths and shit like that, and that was totally fun. But at the same time, sometimes I'd sneak into a camp. I'm like, I'm ready to kill everybody in here. And at one point, you think Arthur Morgan would just be like, man, I don't want to kill anybody today. I want to just eat some dry herbs and set up a camp and go to sleep. Let's fucking do that. Let's go cook some fucking big game. Let's go read in our journal and go sketch a cabin that we found. Arthur Morgan was a sensitive soul, which is my favorite Mumford & Sons song, by the way. So the point of all of this is please use fresh ingredients if you're going to die. And not as fresh as Arthur Morgan is getting them right from the ground and shoving them down your gullet. But do the best you can to go ahead and grab the best sour cream and onion chips or the best I'm going to sneeze. It's going to be bad. Wow. I should probably cut that out. But, you know, what the hell? We're on a roll here. We're rampaging, man. We're just fucking crushing it. It's just like I don't have a dump button. I need a dump button. I need, you know, I've got all this fucking gear. I got 2 fucking monitors in front of me, a keyboard, fucking Bose speakers, my fucking lap. I got 3 computers in front of me right now. Not even joking. That's a lie. I got 2 computers. I got 1 computer. I got my laptop. And then I got just a big ass fucking monitor. And that's a chat room monitor. And then I got the video games rolling when I'm playing. Folks, I'm into the 21st century is my point. I'm just... This is like a space cockpit. Ground control to Major Schmidt. I'm in here playing a fucking video game from 1,000,000 years ago with a fucking Western guy who gets shit on his shoes and eats a handful of grass. The fuck, man? Advance. Be somebody who brings it into the... You know, but I'm learning this shit about games that I like and the games that I don't like. But before we get into that, fuck that. Sour cream and onion chips. So I still ate those in January. Those and license plates of chocolate. Not all the time. Not with all the frequency. Not every day. But I did find them, and I would have them. And because I told you, I was eating like at least 1, sometimes 2 a day of those fucking chocolate bars. And in January, I cut that down. I think I probably had, there was probably at least 10 days where I did not have candy, which I know that's nothing to brag about. That's certainly not anything you want to get a fucking prize for. But at the same time, it's an achievement for me because I was eating a ton. But the chips also, they are just fucking, and I don't even, how do I put this? If you are a person who struggles with your weight, or struggles with maybe obsessive behavior, I guess maybe you'll relate to this. I would buy these big bags of chips, and I would buy smaller bags of sour cream and onion chips if they came in smaller bags, but they didn't. They either come in the fucking, like the 8-ounce size or the 10-ounce size, or no, the 7-ounce size and then the 10-ounce size. And, I open them, and it's all about the ritual. So terrible. First of all, I shake the bag up and down, because I don't want, if there's any flavor that's settled at the bottom, I want it at the top. I want all the sour cream and onion powder to coat all of the chips evenly. Hi, I'm the weirdest man alive. And then you open the bag, and it's the smell. It's the smell of like the potato chips and potatoes and the sour cream and onion fucking fake powder. It's there, and it hits you, and it hits that weird, maybe you don't have this. Okay, it's funny, when I talk to David, food is not a big deal to David. You know, he just doesn't fucking, I mean, he likes good food, but he doesn't want to stick his cock in it like I do half the fucking time. I mean, I fetishize the shit out of fucking food. And so with these chips, just opening them and smelling them, it makes me younger. It puts me in a spot of pleasure. It hits a pleasure spot in my brain from when I was a kid. Same thing with the chocolate bars. I'm just eating my childhood. That's all I'm doing. I'm just eating youth. And the potato chips are the same fucking way. The sour cream and onion ones, I open them up and you smell. That smell immediately reminds me of when I would get to open my own private bag of chips when we were kids. And my mom thought enough of me to buy me a bag of chips that was mine. It's like when she would make chili. My mom made homemade chili, and from what I understand, it was fantastic. However, I didn't eat it because as a child, I didn't like chili because it had beans in it, because it was spicy. I didn't want to try that shit. So my mom would make me hot dogs. When everybody else got chili, I would get hot dogs. And I mean, it made me feel special. It made me feel happy. Because, there was enough fucking times my mom would make a fucking pot of soup and we'd like, you're all fucking eating it for the next week. And I've told the story, soup's a real good, mom. Liar! When we'd have to heat up this chicken soup, my mom would make a fucking gigantic pot of chicken soup and we'd have to eat it for fucking 6-7 days. And we hated it. We were just like so miserable. But that's why when she would take the time to make me something special, I remember feeling just that, special. I would be very happy. So when she got me my own chips, it was like this where she thought enough of me to go, oh, well, Michael likes these, so I'll get this for him. And as I think about it now, it's funny. I picture a child just getting them and hugging the chips. You know what I mean? I didn't. I'm not saying I did. I wasn't that guy. But I remember feeling special and opening the chips and knowing they were mine, and I could hold the bag for myself and I could take some out. And it was, my mom would say, don't, these are Michael's. And that made me very happy. And the same thing with the chocolate bars. It was a sense of accomplishment on Saturday afternoon. I knew it was Saturday and I had no more work to do when I would go get a bar of chocolate and come and watch baseball. So I associate these foods. They're very, very, very powerful memories, especially for a guy who's 51 and has spent his life chasing youthful pursuits, but knows that in 24 years he's going to be dead. You know what I mean? When you look back and you think to yourself, well, I did this as a kid and I love doing it now. And there's a big thing now where everybody's saying that there's too many childhood distractions, I guess you would say, for adults. All the movies are superheroes and everything is Everybody loves Star Wars, and they all love these kinds of things. And I have to admit, I feel that way sometimes too. You know, I will say, are they ever going to make a movie where adults have a conversation? You know what I mean? Where there's not a killer clown running around but then again, you figure real life is depressing enough for some people, so they want to go escape. They want to go watch Spider-Man swing around. And I love Spider-Man. I'm not shitting on the Avengers. I'm not shitting on Spider-Man. I mean, I'm going to have to see Captain Marvel even though I don't want to. I'm sure somebody out there loves Captain Marvel and they're very excited for this. But I saw somebody on Twitter the other day, and it hit home for me. And this person said, she was saying, I wish I could remember her name, and I would love to credit her. But she said, a lot of people say that people waste their time with childhood indulgences in their adulthood. She goes, but what you don't understand is, when you people, she's framing it as a millennial and talking to boomers. She was like, you were able to re-experience your childhoods with your children. So you got to live through, you got to show them the Wizard of Oz. You got to play them the music of your youth. You got to show them the things that they loved or that you loved and enjoy it with them and see it again through their eyes. They said, well, we don't have any kids. We're living a different life financially and everything else. And so we are reliving our childhoods or holding on to what is important to us from our childhoods for ourselves. We don't have any kids to live through. And boy, that was really powerful for me, because it meant that, because also why should you grow up? Why should you get rid of the things you love? Why should you stop liking things because you get older? I will admit that that's ingrained in me just because of the way I was raised. I'm in Generation X at the tail end of it, but we were always taught that, you got older and then eventually you stopped childhood pursuits and you grew up. You got married, you had a job, you lived your life, and why? Fucking why, man? Why can't you be 51 years old and like Spider-Man and pro wrestling and goofy shit like that and love it, like really love it, and everybody comes in and shits on it and they destroy you. I just saw a video tonight that kind of gets to this, and it gets to what I was talking about with Twitter, about how it's destroying the world and how. And I know destroying the world is really hard. I always get my buddy Fearful Jesuit from the Paranoid Strain podcast. He always tells me this is the best time in American life or in the world. This is the best time to be alive in the world ever for the advancements. And he's not wrong. I totally understand that. I understand that medical care is completely different. I understand I have a phone in my pocket that gets me all of the information from all of the information ages throughout the centuries. I could find anything I needed with the push of a button. I get that. But at the same time, the temperature is going up and the climate is being destroyed and nobody seems to care. I guess it's the whistling past the graveyard that bothers me when I see people, I understand following your pursuits and things like that, but when people pish posh really serious things, that kind of throws me for a loop, even though I don't want to fucking engage myself in serious things. I want a cabal of serious people to handle the serious things so I don't have to fucking worry about it. That's why this fucking thing where politics every goddamn day, every time I open my fucking computer, everybody's got something to say. Every comedian has got some bullshit to say about Trump and everything they got to say. I'm like, and look, I know I'm talking about him too, but Jesus Christ, you can diversify yourself. There's sometimes you can go ahead and step aside and talk about something fucking different or try to be goddamn funny. It doesn't ruin everything. It shouldn't, anyway. I've talked about this on previous shows. I know, I get it. I'm going off on a tangent, but it struck me. It just struck me. But I forgot what I was talking about with Twitter. Oh, tonight there's a video from the Detroit Pistons basketball game, and it's got a guy who's he danced with the Detroit Pistons dance team. And he apologized, proposed. He's dancing and his girlfriend is there in a chair and he's dancing for her. This has been a break in the third quarter. I don't know. He arranged it with the team. I don't know how the fuck it worked. And I don't know, from the clothes she was wearing, she looks like she might have been on the Detroit Pistons dance team. Like she might have been one of the cheerleaders, but he's dancing with the male dance team. And he's just I'll be honest with you. He's just a dorky dude, just like a white dude having fun dancing, and he's got a routine a rudimentary routine he put together with the fucking dancers. These male dancers are helping him, and he's dancing, and then they slide her on a chair, and he does like a little bad break dance. I mean, it's just silly. And then it's to Bruno Mars's, let's do something done today. I think I want to marry you. And then sure enough, they do this thing when I walk up, they put a blazer on him. They show him a mirror, almost like Jerome from The Time. And they spray Banaka in his mouth. And then he walks over with a ring and he gets on one knee and he proposes to his girlfriend on the court in front of the entire stadium. And people cheered. And I saw it and I was just like, man, was it endearingly dorky? Yes. Was it silly? Yes. He does a backflip and he doesn't nail it completely, but he holds the one knee like he meant to do it, which is kind of fun. And he's whatever. He proposed to his girlfriend in front of a basketball stadium and he arranged it with the dance team. And it's just this. It was a special thing. Certainly a special thing for her because she can't stop smiling and laughing and she's watching him and he's going for it. That's the thing there's no, well, I better not do this. There's a bunch of people looking or this will be stupid or whatever. He fucking goes for it. Is he a good dancer? No, he's okay. He has rhythm and he can handle the beat. And then he does this bad fake break dance that he does and that I couldn't do. I'm not shitting on him. I'm just saying it's just, compared to real break dancers, it was just like whatever. And then he does a standing backflip and then he proposes and she says yes. And the announcer's like, she said yes. And it's just a minute long. It's a clip I saw on Twitter and I was like, this is fucking cool because now, they're going to get married. I'm hoping that they're happy. I hope that they're together forever. This is a memory they'll have forever. Hopefully they stay together for a very long time, if not forever. And they'll always have this. They'll always have this. They'll always have that 90 seconds to 2 minutes of unbelievable specialness that brought the attention of the world on them in their special moment. And the NBA retweeted it and just wrote, she said yes. And then, you watch the whole routine, you hear the music and he does the thing and it ends. And we all know this. I know this. You know this. But at the same fucking time, I made the mistake. I read the comments and I scrolled down on Twitter and I'm telling you, everybody, at the time I read it, there were only probably like 25 quotes. And all destroying them, laughing at his dancing, saying, can you imagine if the Pistons are in the middle of a playoff race, they got to sit through this shit? Get off the court, take that shit somewhere else. Maybe halftime, but not the third quarter. All these people just shitting on Joy and getting in their wisecracks, making fun of him. He can't dance, putting up the divorce statistics, just doing everything they could to crush Joy. And I don't understand why people are like that. And it happens all the time. It happens on Facebook all the time. And people don't mean to do it. I talked about it earlier, but people don't mean to do it. I don't even know if I said this yet because I know I started to talk about it and I got away from it. I started to talk about David Roth and I got completely distracted. Let's do that. David Roth is a writer and he wrote, this is when I decided I was going to be this person. On Deadspin, he wrote a thing about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks. And it was about President Trump. And it was a fucking destruction. You know what I mean? And he writes about President Trump maybe once a month. And he just fucking takes a wrecking ball to him. Because look, whether you're a Republican and you think he's doing a good job or the wall, whatever the fuck, we can all admit that Donald Trump is a fucking goof. All right. He is a habitual dick stepper who fucks with people just to fuck with them. He's just a jack. He wrote this fucking tweet over the weekend about Elizabeth fucking Warren and fucking insulted Native Americans and brought up the Trail of Tears. Look, and it's shit I shouldn't want to fucking care about. I shouldn't know about it. I shouldn't care. None of that shit fucking matter to me. It's just embarrassing for me to know that I live in a place where people think that that's funny or good, that people are on board with that fucking guy. And again, you know me, I'm anti-trolling. I don't understand trolling at all. It makes no fucking sense. I saw a thing on Twitter over the weekend where a guy, he tricked people into doing shit and then he's like, ah ha ha, excellent troll. Well, no, that's fuck you, man. Read a book. Go outside. Whether it's cold or warm, just breathe. If it's cold, let the fucking wind hit you in the face and realize that there's nature and beauty and things that you should actually care about. What the fuck are you trolling strangers on the internet for? You're just I don't get it. I don't understand this active. And look, I've been a guy. I've ripped things to pieces. I ripped things on this show. I'm sure I will again. I know I will. But when I see people actively trying to destroy people's happiness or their joy or their special moment, it's just like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Why would you do this? What is the motivation you have? What is wrong with you? What do you have that doesn't make you happy that you have to reach out and just fucking hammer someone who's just trying to live and be happy? There's a meme that goes around. It's like, let people like what they like. Like, yeah. And I've said this before. I've said, let people like what they like. Now, at the same time, I still make fun of fucking everything in the goddamn world. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean I think you should stop watching cartoons or fucking cartoon movies or whatever the fuck. Like Star Wars, I watch it. It doesn't mean anything to me. But there are people who have fucking Yoda robes and they fucking put their whole house in, this is not the address you're looking for, whatever the fuck. They put signs outside on their welcome mats and shit. Good for them. If you want to buy that shit, go ahead. Whatever distracts from this ridiculous goddamn wood chipper of a life that we all have to live going forward and paying our fucking bills. Look, because everyone's got to pay their property tax. Everyone's got to pay their water bill. We all have to fucking do that. So if something that distracts you from having to pay your fucking water bill, if you like Grover from Sesame Street, that's fucking great. I saw a thing on Instagram this week. And again, look at me. Yes, I'm buried in social media. There's no doubt. I'm streaming games and I'm in social media. But Questlove, who you might know, he's the drummer of The Roots and he's on the Tonight Show all the time. His name's Amir and he's a Renaissance man. That guy, he and D'Angelo changed fucking soul music forever by borrowing from the past. I mean, he's just a genius, and The Roots are fucking phenomenal. And he's a guy who's written books and he analyzes music, and then he's put out, like, now he's got a food blog and he puts out this fucking, he just put out these, like, honestly, he put out a thing that I can't wait to eat, even though I shouldn't. Popcorn seasoning. And he's got one that's basically Fruity Pebbles that you sprinkle on popcorn. I want to taste it just to see what it fucking tastes like. I was like, oh my God, dude. And he called them sneakies so you can sneak them into the movies and put them on your own popcorn. God damn, I want one. But he got to film Sesame Street this week. And he put out stuff on Instagram where he's literally next to Grover. And he's talking, and he says, well, this is happening. And Grover's just staring at the phone. And Questlove starts talking. And then Grover goes, I can't do the voice, but he goes, is this a video? And then Questlove's like, yeah. And he goes, oh! And then he starts singing and being stupid because they did what Grover would do. He thought he was posing for a photograph, and because they make them real. They make the Muppets real. So they made Grover pretend like he was posing for a photograph. And then the second Amir is holding and then he's like, is this a video? Oh, and then he starts singing and swinging his head around. And it's so gorgeous. It made me so jealous and so happy at the same time, because how great would it be to meet Grover? How great would it be to meet Cookie Monster? I mean, those were, as I've talked about before, those were essentially my dad growing up. I got, my mom was busy. And so I watched Sesame Street like I mean religiously. I could probably repeat every single line of every single episode when I was watching it. It was just fantastic. I loved it so much. And that brought me joy. I want, all I want is happiness and joy. I don't understand why there isn't happiness and joy. So David Roth writes this article about Donald Trump and savaging him, talking about what a terrible liar is, even though he lies all the time, and he just won't, because you can tell he might be the worst liar, even though he's a consistent liar. You'd think he'd be good at it by now, but with as much as he lies. And he just destroyed him. I mean, it's just an amazing article. It's so good. And underneath it, there's a comment section. Of course, the comment section, as we know, this is the seventh circle of internet hell, and the other 6 circles are also comment rooms. They're also comment chat areas. And everybody decided to embellish and write their own thing and just go, yeah, another thing about Trump or this, and not one person went, dude, this is fucking devastating. Nice job. There's not enough attaboys on the internet. There's not enough people telling someone they did a good job. There's not enough people saying, yeah, this is great. This is really good. This made me happy. There was a woman who wrote a thread on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, a month ago. And it was a thread about, relationships and personal life and a lot of different things. And I read it all the way through to the end, and I wrote her a private note. And again, you don't write women on the internet. You don't write women on fucking Twitter because you just look like a fucking dickbag. But, I mean, you don't. Anytime you see a guy comment on a woman's post and he's like, well, actually, you're just like, oh, fucking dude, jump into a sea of acid and just come up bones, because nobody wants to fucking hear from you. Don't fucking mansplain to this chick. You know what I mean? She's got just as much a right to her opinion and to say the things that she knows as you do. And you don't have to come in here and fucking sword fucking fight her. And it's all fencing. It's all garbage. It's all wrestling. Everybody wants to call everybody out. And I just wrote this woman and I said, you helped me today. Thank you. And, I'm a strange man. She doesn't know who the fuck I am. And so it took her probably 3 days, and she finally wrote me back and she said, you're very welcome. And that's how it should be. So I decided now, everybody everybody's funny. Mex and I call Facebook America's open mic night, because everybody posts a joke. And I find it out myself, even from looking at old jokes I've posted, because they get that memories thing, and you get jokes that you posted and stuff that I thought was really funny. And it'll get 10 responses, and all of them it's 10 more jokes. 10 more things where somebody tries to not top you so much as yes and you. This entire country is an improv group. And everybody's yes-anding everybody else and trying to fucking further the sketch. And it's like, yeah, you don't have to. You don't need to come in and yes-and me. You don't need to fucking top my joke. You don't need to tag me. I've been doing this a long time. And at the same time, if it's your friends and you're goofing around and stuff like that, it totally makes sense. But when you see it all day long everywhere, Twitter and Instagram, and everyone has to say something to another person and immediately come on like a stiff prick. Hey, stupid, if you did it this way, what the fuck are you talking to me like that for? You know the fuck I am. And I know I've decried this shit since year one of this fucking podcast. I know I've talked about the internet. I've talked about how, you can go out and 100 people could tell you you're great. And if one brick hits you in the head, all you'll talk about is the fucking brick. I've been extremely lucky that I've had people line up and tell me I'm the fucking best, that I'm the greatest, and support this fucking show in ways that I never thought people would. And it's fantastic. And I'm so grateful. But when you get one email that tells you that you're fucked and they're never going to listen to you again because you said something, you're just like, ooh, that's the one that stings. That's the one you remember. And I don't understand it. It doesn't compute with me. And so, like I'm saying, I've just decided now that if someone writes something that I think is funny or something that I think is worthy, I'll just write thank you, or I write ha 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 ha. Because LOL to me is the stupid. LOL is just, it doesn't mean anything anymore. LOL or LMAO or LMAFO or fucking OSCAR, MAYER, BOLOGNA. None of that fucking shit means anything, man. So I'll literally just write like ha 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 ha, because I want them to know that I'm laughing instead of just going. Because sometimes I'll also go, dude, this fucking made me blurt laugh. Like, I mean, I want people to know that their work matters. I want people to know that they made me laugh. I want people to know that I saw something. Like on Facebook, I see people put up photos of their child graduating, and I like it. I don't know that person. It might be somebody who listens to the show who's never communicated with me, but they reached out to be friends on Facebook. And so if their kid graduated, that's a cool ass thing. Because I also make fun of the fact, I'm like, we always talk about, oh man, is the unexamined life worth living? Well, there is no longer the unexamined life. Everyone exists on social media, and they're all putting up their cars or their kids or their meals or whatever the fuck. And it's how they handle themselves. And all they want is human connection. All they want is reaction. The people who are being shitheads are being fucking shitheads. But if somebody puts up a picture of their new boyfriend, I like it. If somebody picks up a picture of themselves having a good time with friends, I like it. Because those are the things you should be doing. And those are the things I want for myself. And so when I see those people getting engaged on Twitter and people come out and they're just like, oh man, fuck you. Oh, what about the divorce rates? Haha, this is hilarious. Fuck you, man. Fuck you, dude. Seriously, there's so many things to hate, so much bad about the fucking world. Why would you try to fucking drag these people into the morass? I'm so lucky in that the people I know, on the UN of Evil, all of these people are good people. They're all, David has a beautiful family. Dennis has beautiful kids and his wife Kelly. All of my friends and Woj and his wife Linda, they've been together 28 years or whatever. It just makes me very happy to see these people enjoying their lives. David and Linda have raised beautiful kids. They're involved in all of the activities. They're going to college. They're doing all these different things. When anybody posts that their teen son got a job, working his way through school, I think that's a really neat thing, and I want to like it. So I do. I just don't understand why people want to have anger, and it's like when I hear next door, him playing trumpet loud, and I'll just tell you this. I was shocked by this. I don't get shocked. You know me. I'm not a fucking shocked guy, but I got shocked, and here's why. I always joke about Lou the racist bartender. He's a Trump guy, and he's, I've heard him outside, and he's been kind of like, hey, these ignorant immigrants, they need to get off the, he says things that are not good. But also, and I'm sure we all have this, we've got an uncle, we've got a cousin. He also helped me change a flat tire. I know there's good in him, despite the fact he's ignorant. I know that sounds ridiculous and weird. And this is a guy I've lived next door to for 15 years. I say hi, I say bye, I know where he works, but I mean, we never had. I mean, like one time he's like, hey, you hungry? And he brought me over chicken parm because he had cooked it and he couldn't eat all of it. And I did the same thing with him. I had barbecue. I like, you hungry, dude? There's a new barbecue joint. I bought him a half a slab of ribs as well. It's you know, you make relationships of convenience. You know, he's next door to me. It's not like he and I would hang out ever, but the fact that he lives next door and I see him and we can talk sports, we can goof around and you know, I'm able, as long as I'm not steered into those topics, I can ignore the fact that I know somewhere inside him hate lives. And ignorance and intolerance and emotions I don't understand. Now, look, I have plenty of hate for all sorts of things, but it's superficial hate. I mean, I don't really hate anything. I mean, I hate olives. You know what I mean? I'm that dude. So I don't have a lot of hate for anything else. I can hate myself, certainly. I can hate myself in the fact that I don't respond or work the way I should. And I can hate the fact that I've maybe let myself go to a point where I don't see a lot of hope for getting back to where I want to be. But all you can do is try and make efforts. But that's not real hate. That's just disappointment. But again, like I said, he and I will say hi and bye. He talks about the Giants. He's from New York. Hey, dude, fucking Giants. I tell you what, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And I talk about the Bears. And I've brought him in because, I mean, I don't have a lot of people hanging out here at my apartment. So if I'm watching the UFC and there's a crazy knockout, I'll be like, dude, you got to come and check this out. And he'll come in and watch it. Because it's, you know, there's camaraderie there. It's despite being a relationship of convenience, it's still, like I said, I can look past a lot of stuff. So I like to think that he's genuinely a good person who just has blind spots and ignorance that have either been drummed into him when he was younger and he just never shook, or, you know, whatever. I can make you can rationalize anything. I'm not going to walk around in silence and just walk past him. But that might change. Because I parked my car this week. I was coming home from the gym and he was heading out to work. And I said, hey, what's happening? He goes, nothing. He goes, how'd you like that Super Bowl? I said, oh, Jesus. I go, what a fucking mess. He goes, yeah, right? He goes, it was fucking boring. It was terrible. It's terrible to watch. I go, dude, everything. I go, it was just listless. The game was listless. I go, and it was a really exciting season. So to have a terrible Super Bowl is such a drag. And he goes, yeah, you know, I couldn't understand it. I'm watching the game. I'm trying to figure it out. I go, yeah, the commercials were bad. He goes, oh my God, the commercials, the whole experience. It was just bad. He goes, you know what? You know what I think it was? I go, what? He goes, I think it was the naggers. Except he didn't have an A in that word. And I felt like someone had hit me in the face. To hear it so blatantly said, because this is a guy, again, I know 15 years, and I've heard him use the word talking to other people, like in the apartment, like upstairs, and I knew it. I know how he is. I know who he is, and I know what lives in him. But to have it just burst out of his chest like the alien and go across our kitchen table in the fucking carport, right in my face. And it's just, and I looked at him and I go, what? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I think it was too dark. Because I tell you what, he goes, I think those naggers, you know, they changed the whole game. And I mean, I was stunned. I sat there frozen for a good, you know, because he talked for about 5 more seconds. And I went, wait a minute. I go, you're telling me that you think black people ruined the Super Bowl? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I tell you what, all those protests and stuff like that, but then in the game, you know, you could see they weren't hustling, they weren't doing it. And I go, dude, the NFL exists because of black people. That's the only reason anybody watches the fucking games, because black people are I mean, it's 80% black people in the league. Yeah, no, I tell you what, but those particular ones, you know, they get in the fucking game on Sunday, and it just looked like they weren't even trying. Like these Rams should be disgusted. You know, they should have maybe they just should not even look at signing anymore. I go, whoa. Because again, I should have just walked away. But oh, wait, so you advocate that the Rams don't sign any more black guys? And he goes, yeah. He goes, at least get rid of the ones you had because they were lazy. And I hear all the time that racism is now removing its mask and people are being more comfortable and able to say things. And I see videotapes and stuff like that. But this is the first time, this is a guy I've known 15 years. And I know his tendencies. Fuck, I call him Lou the racist bartender. I mean, I know who he is. But it just hit such a fucking rough spot for me. And so I go, Lou, don't ever say that to me again. And he goes, what? He goes, what, you a Ram fan now? I go, no, Lou. I go, you know I'm a Bear fan, first of all. Second of all, I go, you can't use that word around me, man. And he goes, oh, all right. I go, yeah, that's just... I go, I think it's just wrong. And I go, and if you think that way, I fine. I go, but I can't hear it, man. I can't. And he said, oh man, no, I didn't. Well, I wasn't trying to, I didn't want to piss you off. I wasn't trying to piss you off. And I go, no, dude, I'm not, because at that point, I don't know what the fuck to say, but I had to say, because I was uncomfortable and I had to show in my face. But he laughed. When he said it, he laughed. That was the thing. He was laughing the whole time like it was okay. Like it was acceptable. And I just, so I went, you can't say that around me. That I just can't hear that. He goes, oh, all right. Hey, Mike, hey, come here. And he reached out and he shook my hand. He goes, hey, I didn't mean anything, but I wasn't trying to be, I'm not trying to be that guy. I go, no, I understand. I understand. And look, by the way, I could be getting all of this, just the after part, after I told him not to say it, because at that point I wasn't even there anymore. I wanted to be in my apartment. I wanted to run away. I don't, look, I'm used to starting awkward conversations and making awkward things happen. I'm never really one who has to actually react to something like that and be the sane one. I'm never the sane one. That's not me, baby. I'm usually the guy who's absolutely the one that everybody goes, holy fuck, can you believe that motherfucker did that? Well, no, I'm in the position where I'm like, can you believe this motherfucker just said this? Like, I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. And also, this will sound bad. Maybe not bad, but what does it say about me that he felt he could talk to me like that? Is it because of the years of me just kind of laughing off when he would say things about Trump or these immigrants, the wall, or any of that shit, or even when he would talk about Obama and he hated him and he was like, yeah, this fucking guy, and he's not even from here, he's from Kenya. I mean, all the times I just kind of politely nodded and was like, all right, buddy, okay, don't start, because that's how I would do it. because I never wanted to have any of those conversations. I don't want to be in that fight. I don't want to be in that discussion. I don't want any of that to be coming through. I don't want to be like, hey, buddy, let's really talk. Because do you really want to debate with somebody about whether or not Obama's from America or he's from Kenya? Because they're never going to win that fucking debate or argument. You're never going to wind up getting any fucking words in edgewise because they have all the fucking facts they could possibly get from our garbage news media out there who are fucking churning that shit out. So, or comment sections, whoever the fuck. So I've always, every time he's done it, I'm like, all right, buddy. Okay. And I've walked away, just rather than continue the conversation. But this time we were face to face and he dropped a heavy fucking N-bomb in my face. And I didn't know what to do. And I froze. And then finally I just went, you can't use that word around me, man. And it put him on his heels. I have to admit, and it was that thing, this will sound so dumb. I felt bad for him then, because I wasn't trying to upbraid him. He's probably my age, a little older, and he doesn't need some fucking, I say young upstart, but it's, I don't want to scold anybody. I don't want to tell anybody how to behave, because I haven't exactly comported myself in the best fucking ways all the goddamn time in my life, and I understand that. And there's nothing worse than somebody looking at you in the face and going, hey man, you're out of line. You're really out of line here. And I tried not to be forceful about it, but honestly, I couldn't have been forceful about it. I was so fucking taken aback that I sat and froze, and then I went, wait a minute, what? And I just, you think black guys are ruining the NFL? It was this weird, I couldn't even, the disconnect on it. It just makes no fucking sense. I understand, because he felt about the national anthem and the kneeling and all that bullshit, fine, whatever the fuck. But Jesus Christ, dude, you got to be kidding me with that. And he just dropped it on me, and this one I couldn't let pass. This one I couldn't. And I'm no fucking hero. I'm not being like, yeah, look at me, I'm a fucking champion. I felt like shit. I won't lie. I felt like shit that he felt like he could talk to me like that. I felt like shit that he felt he was comfortable to share that with me. And I felt all of a sudden that, you know what, all of the years I should have said something beforehand, and maybe I could have made sure that moment didn't happen, because it made me fucking uncomfortable in a way that I haven't been uncomfortable in years. This is a guy, no. You know what I mean? This is a dude I've lived next to for 15 fucking years, and that gets dropped on me? So, I don't know, man. I just, that's fine. You know what I mean? And again, he was extremely apologetic and was very nice about it, but this is what I'm talking about. people, and look, I live my life through language. I'm comfortable saying whatever the fuck I want to say all the goddamn time, and I will defend it. And everything I say, I will stand behind. And if you got a problem with me, you can say it to me. And if I'm out of line, I'll apologize. I don't think a lot of the times. I'll be honest with you. I just fire. My fucking head just fucking opens up and shit comes flying out of it. And that's just the fucking way I've comported my business for fucking years and years. On this show especially, for the last 11 years, I always say no filter, no future. I've talked about that all the goddamn time. Well, I've amended that. Now it's no filter. But you know what? I have a fucking future. I've the past 5 years, I've thought to myself, you know what, man, you need to do this, you need to do that. And look, I don't do the best things. I don't do all the good things that I should do, but I'm making progress. I'm making progress at the gym. And you know me, I'm excited. I told you I'm excited about Twitch. I'm excited about the gym. I'm excited about everything. And I have those conversations with Jesuit where he tells me, hey man, the world's in the best place it's ever been. And I agree with that. I guess now that I think about it, I understand what he's talking about. But at the same time, there are still fucking dark pockets of this world that you don't want to venture into. And there are still people with fucking ignorance and black hearts and people who aren't empathetic or sympathetic and people who don't want to do for other people. And I don't understand that logic. I'm sorry that a website like GoFundMe has to exist, but I'm excited it does. I just had a friend who had to put one up, and I just saw this week a fucking baby that was born with a defective heart, and a dog that was born with its paws upside down. And I mean, it's just all these, you see all these individual tragedies, and the fact that there is a spot that people can go to like GoFundMe and rely on the kindness of strangers to maybe help them out. And then, of course, grifters come in and they fucking ruin it, and you just get so fucking jaded. It's just so easy to be jaded in the world. It's so easy to be the one to type a 2-line joke about somebody proposing to his wife or girlfriend or whatever in a public place. It's so easy to just say, oh, well, the other is doing the thing that's bad, or these motherfuckers are ruining everything, or they're taking our jobs. I mean, I have a friend who lives in an area, like in an isolated area of the country. I'm not going to get into it. I don't want to identify it, but all they do is bitch about immigrants. They bitch about immigrants, and they talk, and I'm like, what dude, the fucking immigrants are never coming by you. Shame on you. I know you, man. You grew up poor. How fucking dare you? And also, it's like that woman in Minnesota who bitched about the fact that the immigrants were going to come and steal her fucking lake house. You're in fucking Minnesota. Minnesotans don't want to be in Minnesota when it's fucking 20 degrees below fucking zero. Jesus Christ. And you're worried about fucking Guatemalans bringing their caravan all the way from Mexico through the United States up to fucking Minnesota and squatting in your lake house? You know what attitude is? You know how you bring that attitude into your life? By having a lake house. If you have a lake house, then you start to think, well, I've got to defend what's mine. I've got to keep what's mine. And I'm not shitting on people who advance. If you want to have a lake house, go ahead. But don't sit there and think to yourself that people are trying to steal your fucking lake house. Like I said, my friend lives in the middle of the country, and he's bitching about immigrants coming over and taking everybody's jobs. And I'm like, dude, you work at a hardware store. I mean, what? You're not picking fucking apples. Nobody's taking your fucking job. And also, nobody's coming to your state. You own 2 homes. How dare you? I don't get it. I don't know why you would want to live a life that, though it makes you feel better, complicates another's. Just be cool. It's not hard. Be cool to people you don't know. Smile. I got out of the gym today. There's a guy sitting at the bus stop. I go, hey, sir, how are you? And he looked up and he's like, oh, hi, I'm good. I said, well, good, I'm glad. And I walked away. And again, I'm not looking for fucking brownie points. I'm not a hero. I'm none of those fucking things. And also, he might have thought, who's that fucking guy? You know what I mean? Absolutely. The people could think I'm a fucking maniac. But there's nothing wrong with making eye contact and smiling. There's nothing wrong with saying hi to people. There's nothing wrong, because again, it is just, this entire fucking world is a goddamn thresher. And we're all getting turned into meat and sluice and bones. We're all fucking getting run through the goddamn ringer, whether we're paying mortgages or we're underwater with college debt. I mean, you got kids to raise. You're worried about what the fuck's going to happen with them. Everybody's got their own fucking struggle. Everybody's got their own fucking hill to climb. And they don't need you waiting at the top of it to kick them in the face and send them tumbling down. They don't need you to be the fucking boulder they carry up Sisyphusian style and then you fucking roll down the other side. Don't make anybody else's life difficult. Don't judge anybody else's life. I saw a video from Broward County, Florida, I think it was, where a fucking police guy there's a African American man and he's holding his baby, and this guy is calling him boy. The cop is antagonizing him, calling him boy, trying to get him to fight. And then he grabs the fucking guy by the throat. And the guy's like, why are you grabbing me? I'm not doing, he's got his hands in the air holding a child. He's just like, or whatever, hands in the air. He was also holding a child. And he's like, why are you doing this? There's no reason to do that. I know it's a comedy podcast. I know it's not supposed to be this. But when you wind up alone, these things come up and you wind up getting them in your head. And so, you know, I'm proud of the gym progress I've made. I'm proud of who I'm becoming. I'm proud of being better. I'm proud of being the kind of person I hope I can be forever. I want to be a good guy. I want to be a good person to everyone. You know what I mean? It's this, and it sounds silly to say that, you know what I mean? Like there's ever a chance of me not being a good guy, but I've lost my fucking temper. I've lost my mind. You know that. Ask all the post offices in the fucking area or comedy clubs. I punched a fucking hole through the goddamn wall, or any parking garage, or fucking Trader Joe's, or wherever I've wound up in fights and shit like that. And I mean, that shit happens. It happens. But you do your best to stay on top of it. So I was at the gym today and I worked out super hard, and I was fucking sore as fuck when I left, but that was okay. I was happy with it. I was fine. It's the way I should be. And when I finished, I went to grab, there's cubicles, and I got my keys and my wallet in the cubicle, and I went to grab it. And there's a woman who works out at the gym. She's a trainer. And she's lovely. She's just really, she walks in and the whole place lights up. Just this fucking ball of positivity, and she's there to train her clients. And I've seen her train young people and put them through their paces. And she trains older people who have trouble with a leg lift. And she's just the same with all of them, smiling and encouraging and getting them, she's just beautiful inside and out. And, we've kind of exchanged highs or whatever in the gym, because you say hi to people in the gym, and I'm lifting with John today. And then we finished, and I'm fucking gassed, and I go over to get my stuff. And she walks over and she goes, hi. I said, hi. And she said, I just want to tell you that you really look great. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. She goes, no, I see you in here you're killing it. You're just killing it every week you're in here, and you're working hard, and it shows. And I just want to tell you that you're really definitely making progress. And I said, that's amazing. Thank you. I said, I'm Mike. She said, I'm Heidi. I said, Heidi, it's great to meet you. Thank you so much for saying that. And I go, yeah, I have so far to go. She goes, well, but that's all you can do is just start. I said, well, the thing is, I've been training with John for 5 years. Then I told her, kind of gave her a capsule. I said, I lost 100 pounds the first year with him. And then, things happen, and you wind up climbing back under the blanket of junk food. And I said, now I'm back up in a spot that I really need to get down from. And I go, I'm tempted to bring out my phone and show you photos of me to show I didn't always look like this. She goes, no, don't be like that. I go, I know, but you get in your own brain. And I said, but that's amazing. And I said, I got to tell you, you're just being in here with you is tremendous. I go, you're just beauty. I see you with everybody, and you're just you're a shining light, and it's amazing. And she just kind of bashfully kind of looked down, and she's like, oh my gosh, thank you. And I said, yeah, no problem. I said, it's really nice of you to come up to me. And we made small talk, and then John came over and he talked to her, and we left. And I walked outside, and John goes, that was nice. And I go, yeah, she didn't have to do that. And he goes, well, she's that kind of person. She's just a nice person who comes over and talks to everyone. I go, I know, dude. And I know that was very much couched in, hey, fat guy, you're trying. And he goes, no, don't talk like that. I go, no, I know that's what it was. She saw me at a low point because we just fucking worked out and I could barely stand up. And she wanted to come over and make sure that I had a boost. I loved it because I needed it. I needed it at that moment. And look, the fact that you're getting it from a beautiful woman doesn't fucking hurt, but it makes you want to go on. And I guess that's really what I'm saying. Make people want to go on. Don't ever stifle anyone. Don't ever stop them. If your kid wants to be a scientist, let him be a scientist. He wants to be a plumber, let him be a plumber. If you got a friend who wants to quit their job at 40 and go back to school, just say, that's a great idea, man. Good for you. I mean, unless it's not a great idea, then shit all over them. But at the same time, be as encouraging as you can. Do whatever you can to foment happiness. Let people be who they want to be, and just be encouraging and helpful, and be that light. Shine that light into their lives. Because a lot of times when people are sharing with you what they want to do, they're looking for approval. They're looking for you to say it's okay. They're looking for you to tell them that they're not crazy. And make sure you do that. Make sure you tell everybody to follow their heart and follow their happiness, because that's all that fucking matters. That's all that matters in this life. Being happy moving forward, doing the things you want. If you want to collect comic books, you want to watch wrestling, you want to watch Spider-Man, you want to watch Sesame Street, you want to watch any sort of children's show or engage in a children's thing, you want to go to a cuddle party, you want to go read poetry, whatever the fuck you want to do is fine. If it makes you happy, do it. Don't hurt anybody. Be cool. Be Heidi. And you'll make the world a better place. You guys can get me at MikeandMikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40yearoldboy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40yearoldboy. What else? I'm at Instagram and Snapchat. Did you know that? I'm at Instagram and Snapchat at Mike40YOB. I'm there. I'm lurking. I'm always there. Send me photos. Snapchat me away. Our friend Kiki sent me a photo of her stove this week, which was great. And then I sent her a photo of my stove. You want a picture of my stove? Write me a note. I'll send you a picture of my goddamn stove. I got photos of my stove out the ass. That doesn't sound good at all. But find me at those places. Also, you can find me, I guess should I do this on the other side now? Fuck. I'm at twitch.tv/the40yearoldboy. Playing video games all the goddamn time, Tuesday through Sunday. We're doing God of War now. I didn't get into a full description. Maybe on the other side I'll talk about it. But, yeah, I got plenty to say about that, so I'll tell you about that. But right now, twitch.tv/the40yearoldboy. Follow the channel. If you want to subscribe, you can subscribe with regular money, or you can actually use your Amazon Prime account to subscribe with a Twitch Prime account. Doesn't cost you a fucking dime, gets me $5, makes me happy, and makes Amazon, again, think that I'm a hitter. Also, Twitch, we need them to think that I'm a hitter, so follow the channel. If you can tune in, that's fantastic. Every Tuesday through Sunday, usually at 3 o'clock PST, and I'm doing God of War right now, and eventually we'll be moving into different games and different streams and all sorts of things. And I know I keep saying eventually, but that's on the agenda, and it's going to happen. So also Ryan Dirks is the guy who does all the web stuff for this show. You go ahead and find him at facebook.com/Ryan Dirks and write him a note. Tell him thank you for all the cool things he's done for us. He's the best. And, we have the YouTube channel. I'll tell you about that too. We got the YouTube channel. Well, I guess I could tell you that on the other side. Fuck that. I'm not going to do that. We'll do it on the other side. Although you already fucking know about it. Our good friend David Hernandez does all the music for this show. He does all the artwork for this show. He's just the greatest. Go ahead and find him at facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez and be his friend there. Now, if you'd like him to do some artwork for you, like the artwork he does for the show, or the artwork he does on his website, or the artwork he does at his Facebook site, you can see his work all over the goddamn place. You can go to artbydmh.com. That's ARTBYDMH.com. Check out all of the work that he does. He works in oil. He works in watercolors. He works in, like I said, all sorts of paste. He works in drywall. He'll work in an Etch-a-Sketch, mail him an Etch-a-Sketch, he'll bang out a fucking picture for you, and then he'll have to really make sure it doesn't move in the package when he mails it back to you. But you'll love it when you get it. You can go to his website again. He's got Valscapes, he's got Gycons, all sorts of past work that he's done that you can see. And if you want something in that vein, you can go ahead and ask him to do that. If you want paintings of people you love, people you know, people you don't know, someone you met at a bus stop that you took a photo of and you want to get a poignant photo of them, or a painting of them, he can do that for you. You want a small, tiny painting you can carry in your wallet? He can do it. You want a giant fucking painting that'll cover your whole garage door? Get him on the blower. Find him at facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez, or go to his website, artbydmh.com. That's ARTBYDMH.com.
Max?
Yes, Mike.
Am I vascular and yoked?
Yes, Mike.
Shall we begin?
Yes, Mike.
Jokers everywhere gather round. There's a funky new groove going down.
There's a man that is going to town.
He's banging on a treadmill and he's wired for sound. So you're gonna have to stay on alert. Don't go near him or you're gonna get hurt.
He's a man with a hole in his shirt.
He's the one getting ripped, yelling your dirt, dirt, because he's vascular and yoked. That dude is vascular and yoked. You know he's vascular and yoked. That dude is vascular and yoked. Everybody's singing.
Hey Mike, what do you like?
I like a girl who hates Christmas.
Who French kissed me right in front of my mom?
I like a girl who wants to have sex in a swamp.
The kind of girl who'll make me a kilt.
I like a girl who smells like oranges.
Who does the splits at a car wash?
I hate
love.
I used to like to watch Bozo.
I like sentences with 6 words.
We're not even singing about girls anymore. Vascular and yoke.
Christ, I'm so ripped.
Vascular and yoke.
Forearms, forearms, forearms.
Vascular and yoke.
You should see me tie my shoes.
Vascular and yoke.
Calves.
The 40-year-old boy just had his butler quit. The 40-year-old boy is getting mean and fit. The 40-year-old boy is trying to make a change. The 40-year-old boy is chasing down some strange. So don't you even try to knock him off his game. He'll goddamn right, his appetite is still the same. He'll make a happy plate, you'll know he'll lick it clean. He's gonna eat more chicken than a man ever seen. Everybody, you know he's vascular and yoke.
Everybody sing.
Vascular and yoke.
On the one.
Vascular and yoke.
But I do this.
Vascular and yoke.
Everybody.
Hey Mike, what else do you like?
I like a girl who eats marbles.
Kind of girl who denies she has a clubfoot.
I like a girl with a bad arm.
Who keeps her underpants in a lunchbox.
I wish I was dead.
I like to fill my mouth full of grapes.
I own many jungle cats.
I never learned to make a grilled cheese.
I like pancakes on the moon.
I think we need to get back to singing about Mike.
I think I heard a noise.
You got up with something to prove. He'll pick you up and get you to groove.
He's a man when he pulls off the move.
You got drywall in your hair, but we'll show you'll approve. You wonder how much one man can take. Y'all wondering at what point he will break.
He's a man, don't you make no mistake.
You need proof, look and see what he did to that cake. Because he's vascular and yoke. You know he's vascular and yoke. There's a hole in there.
Vascular and yoke.
But I do this.
Vascular and yoke.
Everybody.
Hey Mike, we know what you like. Now tell me, what do you love?
I love girls with large mouths.
I love it when a woman has tan lines on her face.
I love a girl who steals books.
Who knows about leeches?
I love when a girl holds my gun.
And can make fire shoot out of her purse.
I love a girl who looks like a cartoon rabbit.
Lets me see her best friend naked.
I love a woman with a skull hard enough to crack a headboard.
I love it when they beat me at Tetris.
I love making clothes for mice.
I think I might have had rabies once.
I love making toast with a lighter.
I really like soup.
I don't feel so good.
I've never seen the beginning of Big Trouble in Little China.
I hope my enemies catch on fire.
I once watched Jaws in the nude.
I love.
I just talked about Twitch, didn't I? I can't stop talking about Twitch. I've been on Twitch a lot of times. Have you ever seen me on Twitch? I'm on Twitch. Not on Mondays, of course. Mondays are for work. But tomorrow I'll be on Twitch playing more God of War. If you want to follow or subscribe, you can go to twitch.tv/the40year-old-boy and find me there and join the regulars. And we'll all have a good time and excite ourselves watching me take an axe to a bunch of fucking plants. See, here's the thing with God of War. You know, I'm killing a bunch of people and everything's fucking fantastic. I'm fighting a bunch of demons. And now I got sent to a realm where it's all dark and filled with plants. Which is like Resident Evil 2, which fucking grossed me out because I could smell that game. I could fucking smell it. I'm in a sewer. I'm fighting zombies. Their guts are all over me. Blood's on me. I mean, it's just fucking grim. And I could smell it. And really kind of, I got like almost that seasonal affective disorder, that sad fucking thing or whatever the fuck. I think I got Resident Evil affective disorder. I had Resident Evil affective disorder because walking through the 2 inches of water in a fucking police station hallway while being chased by zombies and windows are crashing open and rain is constantly falling and there's another dude who won't stop fucking chasing me, dude. I mean, but I'll tell you this, winning in that game, the triumphs were fucking so triumphant. Like I fucking screamed. It took me 4 hours to beat a guy. I think I told you guys that. But at the same time, but then I had to fight another person last week or whatever the fuck before I began God of War, and it didn't take nearly as long, but still the triumphs are great. And so now in God of War, I learned a lot from Resident Evil to play God of War. This is a lot of video game talk for people who probably don't want to talk about video games, but that's fine. Anyway, if you want to hear more content like this, go to twitch.tv/the40year-old-boy. Follow, subscribe, hang out, watch video of me killing people. It's not even video, it's live. It's fucking live, man. It's me sitting at the control center, me and my son running through a weird planet and killing everybody, or a realm. I guess it's a realm. I don't know what planet it is. I suppose it's Earth. I don't know. We're at Midgard. We're killing a bunch of gods and stuff. We're supposed to be looking for Odin and Thor. I assume they'll show up at some point. I already had to fight some other god who looked like the Dean Reynolds, the mayhem guy from the fucking State Farm commercials. I had to fight him. Or Allstate. He's from Allstate, right? Aaron Rodgers is State Farm. Cavemen are Geico. Progressive is Flow. How the fuck do I know that? Why do I know every insurance fucking company spokesperson? And mayhem Dean Reynolds is the guy from Allstate. It used to be the Candyman. What's his name? Or is he still there? He might still be there. I might have fucked this all up. This whole thing could be wrong. You know what? Insurance doesn't exist in this country. I've invented an industry just so I could identify spokespeople, and that's not cool for anybody involved, man. Look at me, generating businesses out of entire cloth. So the point is, I'm on Twitch, twitch.tv/the40year-old-boy. Follow me there, subscribe to me there, watch me there. Please, you would? I would. That'd be great. You know, we have sponsors on this channel, on this program. It's not a channel. I got a Twitch channel. Fuck. See, it's in my brain. It permeates my brain. I'm actually dreaming in video game bites. I had a dream, where I was with somebody and then we were walking through a mall and then there were people attacking. Dude, it's, your brain will fry. I mean, you can really flip yourself out. But that's fine. That's how I'm going to lose myself. Why talk to real people? Why would you ever engage in any sort of reasonable conversation with anybody for the rest of your goddamn life when you got a PlayStation 4 and you can bury yourself in fancy vegetables and legendary animals? That's how I plan to live my life from now on. If you're ever looking for me, just knock on my door. Now, I'm not going to answer, certainly, but if you peek in through the slats of the blinds, you'll just see me on my horse with my bear hat on, courtesy of Ruben, listener of the show, and enjoying myself as I play in the Wild West. Oh, God, what an escape. What an escape to go to Blackwater and then go to Bonner's Ranch, wherever the fuck, Preacher's Ranch, I don't know, Boone's Farm, wherever the fuck I live, Tickle Pink Avenue. I don't know where I'm at. Subscribe to me on that channel. I'm gonna take a beat here. I'm gonna take a pause. I'm gonna hold on. Folks, we have sponsors. Did you know we have sponsors of this show? We certainly do. Our good friend Fearful Jesuit and his podcast, The Paranoid Strain, sponsors this show. Now, he should have a new episode coming on down the pike anytime soon. I have not heard from him yet, but I assume I'll hear from him soon. But his show now is available in the iTunes Store. If you can subscribe now, you can catch up on all the older episodes if you haven't heard those, or re-listen to them because they are fantastic. It's Fearful Jesuit. He scripts out an amazing show. His sidekick Dana bursts in with bits of knowledge and a little snark. And he has interviews with cogent people who know... cogent? I don't think cogent would be the word I'm looking for there. Qualified people who can speak to the subjects that are at hand. He does, he did the QAnon show. He does Flat Earthers. He does all sorts of different shows at all different times. He's debunking conspiracy myths. He's taking a cleaver. You know what he's doing? He's taking a magic axe to all of these conspiracy theorists and their bullshit. That's right. I had to tie a Twitch thing in there. Why not? But that's what Fearful Jesuit does, man. And he also recommended a bunch of games for me to play, but he wants me to play the hardest games. And I get frustrated enough playing these games to where people watching me, I don't know if they're laughing or they're getting uncomfortable because I have to realize I'm there to have fun. You know what I mean? And it is fun. I'm having fun 80% of the time, but then 20% of the time I get that thing in my brain where I'm like, you're not doing this. People are watching. You look fucking dumb. And then that'll rampage through my skull for a while. But anyway, that's neither here nor there because we're talking about the Paranoid Strain podcast. Now, you can get Fearful Jesuit also. First of all, subscribe in the iTunes Store. And then leave a note in the iTunes Store, a review if you would, and mention us if you can. That would let them know that you found them through us. Also, go ahead and contact our friend Fearful Jesuit at theparanoidstrain@gmail.com. Not at the paranoid... theparanoidstrain@gmail.com. That's his email address. Go ahead and write him there. Send him a note. Tell him how much you love the show. Tell him how much you're happy that we brought you into his life or him into your life. And again, makes us look like a hitter. Makes him want to continue the sponsorship, and that makes me happy. So I definitely want to have him on board. He's my friend. He's a good guy, but mostly, you know me. I got to like the work. So, I really, really like the Paranoid Strain podcast. as you know, I'm always fascinated by people who do things I can't do, and I've lost all discipline at this point. So there's no, I mean, I've had some. I've always been able to make myself at the last minute do whatever the fuck I need to do, but sometimes, you know, it still gets away from me. I'm doing much better now this year, but to see a guy who I know, I mean, I've seen the process. I mean, I know how he scripts himself out, and then he literally sits with like a music stand and a script in a recording room in his house and nails the fucking thing. I mean, it's just fantastic. Up there at the compound where all the monks are at Fearful Jesuits compound. But I was going to say labor of love for him, which it probably is, but at the same time, it's just a badass show, and you should subscribe right now in the iTunes store to the Paranoid Strain podcast, available now, and a new episode probably in the pipeline as we speak. He wrote me a couple weeks ago or a week and a half ago that he was working on the new episode, so it's definitely coming. Keep an eye out, but subscribe and go listen to the other stuff because it's all been fantastic. Go ahead and consume it all, and then you'll be ready, willing, and able to ingest whatever the fuck comes down the pike next. And I know what it's going to be. It's going to be fantastic. Folks, you know we have a YouTube channel. Have I mentioned that? I think I probably have. If you go to the YouTube channel now, it's the youtube.com/the40year-old-boy. Subscribe there. There will be Twitch clips going up. There's a couple up there now. There's also 11 years of this podcast archived, and you can go ahead and check out those in the back catalog. There's clips of me doing stand-up. There's clips of me from Jimmy Pardo's roast. There's all sorts of things from a million years ago when I used to get on stage behind a microphone and make people laugh instead of sitting at a desk behind a microphone and making people laugh. It's two different animals. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, I'm making you guys laugh long distance. You're going to hear this in 3 fucking days, which is fine. This is like, you know what, this podcast is like Jesus now. I kill it on Monday, and then you resurrect it on Thursday, and it goes into your fucking ears and blesses you. How about that? I'm gonna go ahead and run with that. I'm the Jesus of podcasts. I kill it on Monday, and then it comes back to life on Thursday for you guys, and you fucking get to listen to it. That's fantastic. YouTube channel exists. Please subscribe to that. It lets YouTube know that I'm a hitter, and you know, like I said, Twitch clips are anon. They're on the way. They're hither and yon. I don't know what the fuck I was trying to say there, but they're coming. So go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That'd be great. Again, the live stream always exists on Twitch. Hey, who wants to be an Uber or Lyft driver? Is it you? Is it you? It might be all of you. If you'd like to be a Lyft driver, go ahead and sign up using my code, and this is all capital letters. Mike 720057. That's Mike, M-I-K-E 720057. Please, all caps on the mic. And also, if you're a first-time rider of Lyft, you can get a little discount and get me a little spiff if you use that code, Mike 720057. Just when you take your ride, make sure you put in that code. Same thing works with Uber, but it's all lowercase, DJZW1YTTUE. That's DJZW, the number 1, YTTUE. First-time riders, you can go ahead and use that code, and I get a little spiff. And if you're a driver who wants to sign up and go ahead and kill it and make your goals and make my goals and make everybody happy, go ahead and do that. Use that code, sign up for Uber, and go ahead and drive all over the goddamn place. Maybe I'll even see you on the road. I'll give you a little toot and a honk. I'll tip my sailor hat at you. That's right. I wear a fucking sailor hat when I'm out there doing Uber, because why not? I'm the captain of my fucking ship. So go ahead and do that. Uber and Lyft exist. DJZW1YTTUE for Uber. Mike 720057 for Lyft. Go ahead and use those codes if you're a driver signing up, or if you're a first-time rider just getting a goddamn ride. Patreon. Did you know that Patreon exists? It does. You can be a patron of this show, or of 40-Year-Old Boy Enterprises if you want to call it that. Because now we got the Twitch channel, we got this, we got all sorts of stuff in play. We're going to do live stuff soon. As soon as a strong word. As soon as I hear back from a theater that doesn't tell me that they don't have a date available unless it's Wednesday at 10 in the morning, then I'll go ahead and get involved with doing some live stuff. But you can become a Patreon at patreon.com/the40year-old-boy. That would be fantastic if you would. My name is Mike Schmidt. Hi. I don't know why the fuck I went into that. You know why? Because it's the end of Twitch. I do that. I always say my fucking name. Goon. But become a patron. All of you guys that are patrons now are the best. Thank you so much for supporting the show to the best of your ability, and I appreciate it very, very much. And if you guys want to sign up and anybody wants to get involved, go ahead and do that at patreon.com/the40year-old-boy. And you'll see my grinning head right there and all sorts of other cool stuff. So go ahead and check that out. And please be a person who does that. Hey! Did you know about Cameo? I'll bet you did. Maybe you didn't. Cameo is an app that you put on your phone, and you can hire people to call your friends or relatives and tell them how much you love them or hate them. It's a lot wider berth than that, but for some reason, that's what my mind always goes to. It always zeroes in on this fact that I'm going to be calling people and telling them to fuck off, or calling people and telling them happy birthday. You know, it's black and white. I go one way or the other. I'm either, hey, you're the best, or hey, you fucking suck, courtesy of your cousin or your aunt. And it's always that kind of relation. It's never your mom. Why would your mom? Well, maybe it is your mom. Maybe you want me to call your mom. Hey, Valentine's Day is coming up this week. Book me for a Cameo to say happy Valentine's, to say somebody you love, anybody. Because, I mean, that's good. You know, look, Nothing shows how much you love somebody than to have some awkward internet stranger call them up and go, hey, or leave a video message anyway, and say, hey, this dude loves you. That lady loves you. You guys are a great couple. I've never met you. This is fantastic. I'm on the internet. I live in a box. So please download the Cameo app to your phone. Look me up, Mike Schmidt. That's what I'm under. I don't think I used 40YOB in there. I think I'm just Mike Schmidt. Google and look for me. And the only thing I have to fear now is if the fucking baseball player Mike Schmidt goes ahead and gets involved in that, because he might. He just fucking might. And hire me, man. Hire me on Cameo to go ahead and call your relatives, your friends, your enemies, whoever the fuck, and tell them good things, bad things. Tell them good times, bad times. You know, I've had my share. But a woman in love with a something man still don't seem to care. I don't remember that. I can't remember the fucking line. So please go ahead and book me on Cameo. That would be fantastic. Hey, MikeSchmidtComedy.com is out there. It is lurking. It is exciting. It is something that everybody loves. You can go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com right now and go to the merchandise page and click on the click on the Amazon link. That's the most important thing, because we got other stuff for sale, but it's things you may already have, or it's older things. I'm not going to lie to you, but I left them up just in case somebody comes along. Some new people from Twitch or somebody might want to grab my CD or something. But right now, I will tell you that if you click the Amazon link, that really helps the show. Because they get money, we get money, you get stuff. It works out perfect. We get money, they get money, you get stuff. I think that's the way I usually say it. But it doesn't cost you anything extra. It costs you just the 10 seconds of going to my website and clicking on the link. And then you're in their shop and you're buying things for yourself anyway. And that's the way you want to do things. And you're supporting the show. It's a perfect way to support the show. It costs you nothing. 10 seconds of your time to use the link. Everything you buy, I get a little taste of the gig. It's perfect. We get money, they get money, you get stuff. It is a symbiotic relationship that I cannot argue with. It is three hands grasping three wrists and forming a flesh triangle that somebody else can plunge their fist through and get to another dimension. That's me thinking in video game terms again, but so fucking what? Go ahead and do that. Please use the MikeSchmidtComedy.com Amazon link. It's available on the merchandise page at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Click on the Amazon link. Go ahead and shop. Buy a bunch of stuff, and we get a taste of the gig, because that's how it works. Because I'm here in fucking a steam room with a goddamn towel around my waist. I can't stop thinking about Steve Lawrence every time I do this plug now, because I said it once, taste of the gig, and then that's it. Now I just think of pork pie hats and sunglasses in a steam room, for fuck's sake. It's perfect. I think of a naked Steve Lawrence. Whenever I talk about my Amazon link, a naked Steve Lawrence comes right to mind. And so I guess you know what that would make me? That would make me the Edie Gourmet of podcast pluggers, or plugging podcasts, or Amazon linkers. I don't know how you want to put it, because you know Edie Gourmet all fucking day long is just thinking of a naked Steve Lawrence. That's all she's thinking of. She's just like, oh my God, Steve Lawrence was naked with that fucking, but leave the toupee on, sweating that towel. Edie Gourmet just licking Steve Lawrence's sweat off of his fucking bird chest. Let me tell you something. I'm confident in fucking saying this. There is no podcast this week, nay, this year, that's ever going to reference Edie Gourmet licking sweat off of Steve Lawrence's bird chest. You have come to the right fucking place, my friends. I am here. You are here as well. We are in this fucking together, and you'll never be able to unhear that. That's my favorite part of the whole fucking thing. That lives with you now. Whenever you see that movie, whenever you hear Steve Lawrence's name, you're gonna think, Edie Gourmet face deep in that bird chest, just licking all that fucking sweat off of it while the fucking Blues Brothers look on. Perfect. All right, man. So, fuck yeah, I gotta tell you this, man. I'm on other podcasts this week. This is a little late in the game for these plugs. I should have fucking told you. Well, I mentioned earlier that I'm going to see a movie tonight, unfortunately. I got to see Liam Neeson's new movie, which is called Cold Pursuit. And it's because I'm doing Comedy Film Nerds this week. Now, I don't think I'm doing the actual show. I think I'm only doing the spoiler episode for Cold Pursuit, because I wrote Graham and I'm like, is there anything else I need to see? He goes, nope, man, just Liam Neeson and his evil shovel. And I'm like, all right, cool, I'm in. So there's a good chance they're doing a regular podcast with a regular person, which I'm sure is fantastic, because Chris and Graham are involved, and it's the big time at that point. It's the big time. Literally, they're the big time. I do this show, and like I said, we keep it indie with Mike Schmidt. We've got a rabid fan base, probably smaller than others, but that's okay. You guys are fucking follow me into hell if you have to. And you know what that's what I like to say about listening to this podcast. All of you are following me into hell every Thursday morning. That's how it works. I'm in here, you come in, and then we all get sweaty, and Edie Gourmet licks our nipples. It's perfect. I'm doing this, so I'm doing the podcast with Graham and Chris. Okay, and it's a Comedy Film Nerds. I'm doing the spoiler episode this week. I think it'll come out. You know, it might even come out. Now, I'm going to say today because you're listening on Thursday, or you're not. But I think it comes out of Thursday of this week. So I record tomorrow with them, which is Tuesday. And they usually release their regular episode on Thursday, don't they? I don't recall. Because, I mean, there have been times I've been sitting there and the fucking episode is up by the time I walk out the door. So maybe they'll do it that way. But if they're doing a regular episode with another person, they might post that and then 2 days later do a spoiler alert. I don't know how it works. But anyway, the bottom line is I'm on Comedy Film Nerd spoiler episode this week about Cold Pursuit with Liam Neeson. Now, look, if you're going to see the movie, you probably don't want to listen. Because we're going to spoil the shit out of it, hence the title. But I've got a feeling that you weren't going to see it anyway. I don't know. I'm going tonight, and we'll see what the fuck happens. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad or indifferent. We'll see. We'll fucking see. I you know, it's funny because I usually go to the ArcLight. You know me. It's $18 to see a movie. But I don't want to see this movie. I'm seeing it for the podcast. So I've actually found there's a rinky-dink theater close to my house. You know, I'll give you a full report next week on how it is. But it's this little. It was a shithole. I mean, I've been there many times, but they redid it. I've Ubered people there in the past, and it looks like there's neon lighting outside now and stuff. So maybe they redid the inside. I have no idea. But it was one of those places with these really small screens. It's old school. It's an old school movie theater. So. The ArcLight is just, it's like staring at a movie on the side of a skyscraper, but we'll see what this movie theater is like. I'll get there and we'll chance it and we'll see what happens. But anyway, the bottom line is I'm on the spoiler episode for Comedy Film Nerds for Cold Pursuit with Liam Neeson. Go ahead and give it a listen sometime this week. I don't know when it goes up, but it'll be up, I'm sure, by the time you hear my voice here talking. And also... I did an episode of Rock Solid, the podcast, with my friend Pat Francis and his friend Kyle Dodson, and by friend I mean relative. We did an episode, we recorded it a while back, but the way Pat works things is he because Pat's a fucking monster. He's just efficient as fuck. So he records episodes and he gets them all squared away, and then he fucking stacks them upon stacks them upon stacks them in a fucking podcast cabinet, and then he wheels them out whenever he can. That's all. Marin did that when I was on his show. He aired me like a month after our interview, or 5 weeks, because I always think of the immediacy of podcasting. I mean, I could sit down at a microphone. If I could put stop on this and literally I could have this uploaded in an hour if I wanted to, but I put it out on Thursday. So that's the whole thing. To me, you do it and it's out, and you do it and it's out, and that's keeps it fresh, keeps it topical. It just seems dated if you release stuff later, but if you're talking, in interviews and things like that, things are evergreen. So Rock Solid, the show we did, is evergreen. We discussed the Sammy Hagar years of Van Halen. Now, I've been on the show before to talk about Guns N' Roses, which is, something near and dear to my heart, the Tarantino music. I did a Van Halen episode with them where we talked about, I think we just did Different Kind of Truth, that whole album, possibly. I don't know. But the point is, we're doing the Sammy Hagar years, and I had a lot of fun, of course, because Pat's my fucking great friend, and we went back and forth, and we're finishing each other's sentences and make each other laugh, and Kyle would jump in and make us laugh. Kyle's an underrated, funny dude. He's just, it's one of those things where when a guy becomes a producer, everybody's like, oh, that's the producer. And then Kyle will say something funny. Everybody's like, shut up, producer. Well, I don't know if you guys do that, but I mean, I know that happened at Never Not Funny. But Matt's funny. So when Matt would say a funny thing, sometimes people would be like, because he's, Matt's not a comedian like me and Jimmy, but he would chime in and he's trade. And now look at him fucking, 10 fucking years later, the guy can trade like anybody. So good for him. I mean, he's still not me and Jimmy. I'm teasing. We're having fun. But yeah, Kyle's funny and Pat's funny, and we had, we went through all the fucking Sammy Hagar Van Halen albums, and I'm not going to spoil what I said. I don't want to go into it, but me, Van Halen's my favorite band of all time, and I have preferences through certain eras, but the bottom line is Eddie. Eddie's there all the time, and so I think I say that even on the podcast. But give it a listen. I think it's this week because they tweeted over the weekend that it was coming out. And so it's either this week or possibly early next week. I don't know what their release schedule is like, but I do know that I will be there, and I'll be talking about I don't want to call it that. I'm talking about Sammy Hagar with Van Halen. I honestly, I hate when people call it Van Hagar. It drives me crazy because you know why? It became a pejorative. Like everybody was like this dismissive because I can't hear nobody's like Van Hagar. Yeah. People are like, oh, Van Hagar. And so I can't fucking hear them say it. I don't want to call it that. To me, it's when it was Van Halen. It was always Van Halen because Eddie and Alex are there. The fucking names are there. Then when Wolf came along, it was really Van Halen, even though they brought Dave back, whatever the fuck. As long as Eddie and Alex were in the band, it was Van Halen. And I don't give a fuck who was singing. You could have fucking Gary Cherone. You could have fucking Steve Lawrence. Holy shit, get Steve Lawrence in there crooning. How why not? Blue-eyed murder on a size 5 dress. Oh, chains. Nothing stays the same. Unchained. I'm sorry, change. I know I blew the Steve Lawrence. It's his first run at the song. Change. Nothing stays the same. Unchained. Yeah, you hit the ground running. Change. Nothing stays the same. Change. And you hit the ground running. Steve, you're blowing the line constantly. Hey, booby, I do it my way. I don't know why he's an Arab. I don't know why I turned him into that fucking guy. Have you seen her? So fine and pretty, moving with a style and ease. Steve, really, throttle down. And I've seen her from across the room. Yes, it's love in the third degree. Ooh, baby, baby, won't ya? And Edie Gourmet just fucking licking his nipples furiously the whole time he's singing. She's just going off. He's just got the fucking flowing toupee, gets a longer one, and Edie's just there clutching him like fucking like Beverly D'Angelo in the fucking movie poster for Vacation with Chevy Chase on a mountain with muscles, but it's Steve Lawrence crooning Van Halen fucking songs and Edie Gourmet with a mouthful of Lawrence nipple just going to fucking work, having the fucking time of her life. People staring and wondering and not knowing what to do.
Fuck you, Schmitty. You don't come to a throne if you're not gonna suck a dick.